Hi folks, Roage here in the woodshop. This may be the last video I ever make, unless my questions are answered and a quintessential dilemma is not resolved. As of the last few days, agents of the government are now threatening to shoot and hang you if you do not do what you're told by them to do. What they're telling you to do is to commit a crime. Now, if you commit that crime, they're going to shoot and hang you. This is what we call being between a rock and a hard place. I didn't define their system. We all did. I'm simply observing what's happening to me, to us all. Now, the title of this is Being Outside the Box. Notice I didn't say thinking outside the box. You see, thinking outside the box securely places you still inside the box. It's no substitute for being outside the box. Being requires no thinking. And it's also important for us to look at a particular question that we've been facing for a long time. We can't begin to prove with any degree of certainty that on exists without first accepting the truth that we can't prove that reality itself exists. And it's easy to understand why when you look at this simple analogy. You cannot prove the difference between red and blue to a blind man. If the blind man does not accept you as an authority, you don't have a chance to convince him that there's even a difference. And he has no way of determining that to any degree of certainty. You can't know things. It is all subjective. It's an illusion until we can prove it otherwise. And we have no means to prove it with any degree of objective certainty. What we can conclude objectively is we all experience reality. But we can't objectively conclude that that reality exists. You can't measure anything outside of the universe by using something that's created inside the universe. You can't see beyond reality using things found in reality. In fact, you can't even think outside of reality. You can be outside of reality. They tell us that thinking that way is insanity. Who's telling us this? And where are they at? Are they not an unproven illusion? And why do you take them as any kind of authority? Now you need to see this word and its definition. The word is contempt. It's a noun. The feeling with which a person regards anything considered mean, vile, or worthless. Disdain, scorn. 2. The state of being despised, dishonor, disgrace. In law, willful disobedience or open disrespect for the rules or orders of a court. Contempt of court. Or legislative body. B. An act showing such disrespect. Tomorrow, on 12/12/12, at 10 a.m., I will openly defy man's government to force a resolution of a quintessential dilemma. It is an existential dilemma. And it is a question and a dilemma that we are all facing right now. They who act on behalf of man's government have threatened to charge me with contempt of court. The charge itself isn't a big deal. They can say anything they want. However, if they act on it, that is a different matter. The question is not if I have contempt in me. I do. I do have contempt within me. That is the truth. The question is what's being presented by them as a court to me actually a court? I know the law is that it is a crime against a man to keep that man as a slave against his will. It is also a crime for me to willingly make myself a slave of another man. If we followed the law, there would be no slaves. If you look very closely at the 13th Amendment, it bans slavery and involuntary servitude. If you don't know what the text is, take a look. There's a number of different issues. It does not ban voluntary servitude. Unless there's a commission of a crime, and it can be used, therefore, as punishment. But only after one receives, a conviction by their peers through normal due process. Also, the venue of which that 13th Amendment applies is called the United States. Now here are the questions. You're telling me that I'm supposed to do what you tell me to do. If I've voluntarily bound myself to this system, then you show me where I did that. Because I don't see it. I don't see the contract. I don't remember having the reasonable means of discovering that contract. I don't have the reasonable means of discovering, the terms and conditions of any jurisdiction that you presume me to be in. Not only that, but if that's the law within the United States, and you're not doing this right now, then you better tell me where it is I am, so that I can get back to that place where I'm protected. And you can't keep me from that, because that would be a violation of the law. Now, if I'm presumed by the system to be in voluntary servitude, then I ask those agents of the system to demonstrate the law upon which that presumption is made and is valid. They have the duty to prove it. They make the charge. I asked these questions when I first encountered them, and my questions haven't been answered. I asked this to be done from the very beginning of this adventure, and I've not even offered any answer. What I got on receipt instead was coercion, extortion. They stole my property. They slandered me. Right? They deprived me of remedy and recourse. They deprived me all of that which any man would consider reasonable. I simply ask the question, if I'm to do this, then you demonstrate to me why I must do this. Now, if the agents just simply say, well, we have the power to force you to do what we tell you to do merely because we say it. If that's the law, then I have the power to force them to do what I say. Merely because I say it. What's lacking is proof, and they have offered none. Oh, we've always been doing it this way. That's not proof. Oh, well, a bunch of judges up there say it's right. Really? They operate in a complete conflict of interest. Why wouldn't they support the system that they're beholden to, that pays them, that feeds them? Why would you expect them to do anything else than to support the system that they use against us? I think it's a stupid, idiotic notion for anybody to sit there and say that the judges themselves are authorities on a system that seeks to deprive you of your property, your rights, and your freedom. I ask those that claim themselves to be an authority for a resolution of this dilemma. What I suspect is those same people who claim themselves as an authority are the ones that created this dilemma that they themselves cannot resolve. I suspect, and it's a pretty valid suspicion, that the agents of the system themselves have lost sight of the true purpose of their own system. This system is causing me and you and them injury that so far has not been mended. Now, my problem with the system is not my problem alone. It is all our problem, and we are all party to this. Either we find a remedy, or we commit a crime against ourselves. If I'm to be a prisoner and a slave merely because society demands it, then you will forgive me, as it is a place that I cannot go willingly. The only path, as it stands right now, to a lawful reconciliation is this: the agents of the system will answer my questions and demonstrate the lawful authority of the system strictly according to the law, and demonstrate to me my willing participation. If they can prove that to me, such that I can reasonably know it, then according to the law, I can demonstrate that it was not reasonable for me to discern that from what the system provided me. They, therefore, must mend the damage that those acting on behalf of the system have caused. Now, if they do that, you will know the system to be lawful and just, as I will declare it to you, and retain the means to do so. If anything else happens, including the agents doing nothing, or merely I go away, then the system, society, and most importantly, you are party to a crime. Although I forgive you, that does not mean there will be no consequences. If I need to go away, then so be it. I gladly accept it if it is necessary. You see, I do not question On, and I do not question destiny, and I do not question what On would have for me. As I see it right now, man has created a problem that he himself cannot solve. If man seeks to force an intervention by a higher power, then man will not enjoy the lesson, as wrath is the prescription for error and a failure of man to do his duty. Now, I seek to prevail upon you all, to find within you your better nature. It is inherent in man that he cannot know the true value of a gift until that gift that was given to him is lost. Man learns that value by taking it for granted and losing it. That is when man has the most appreciation for the wonderful gifts that he's been given. Man has lost a number of wonderful gifts. That which you all out there know as me, and all that which this body has to offer is no different. As with all things, that which has a beginning has an end. Do not be afraid. The world will go on without Roage. Till we meet again. This is Roage. Right now. In the woodshop. You. Have a good day.